Hello there. So this is the first of hopefully many videos on Spanish. And I'm really aiming this at Key Stage 2, but it's very flexible. Anyone could have a go at it. You know, you could change it up in terms of the number of colours we're going to look at today. I've lined up 8 to have a look at, but you could have fewer, you could have a few more. Like there's some colours that I've not got in there. I haven't done any shades. There's colours like brown, lime green. There's a few colours like light blue that we've not talked about on here, but there are other ones that you can add in too. The main resource that you need is just a sheet of paper with the colours that you want to discuss on. I'd ideally do them a little bit bigger than this, I think, if you were going to use them as cards. On the other side, I've put the name of the colours in Spanish. I'll talk over that a little bit more in a minute. Now, in terms of what you need to know before you start teaching it, there's obviously some different words to remember. I think a lot of people have this stigma about foreign languages, a bit like things like art and sometimes maths, that it's this really difficult thing to do, or you've either got it or you haven't. But there are loads of ways that you can make it easier for you and for whoever you're teaching, or if you're teaching yourself as well. So I'll show you a few of those things. So as I say, the first thing you might want to do is keep it to maybe 2 or 3 colours to start off with. That might make things easier. But also in terms of the names of the colours, there are some that are really easy to remember anyway. Some of them are actually cognates, which means they sound pretty similar to the English. So the Spanish for purple is púrpura. Now, I know it doesn't sound exactly like purple, but it's not too bad. And if I just put this up to the screen, it should become a little bit clearer. Yeah, púrpura, so it's not too dissimilar. Rosa means pink, so if you think of a rose, that's a good way to remember that. Blanco is white, so if you think of blank, I guess that can help you with that. You've got rojo, which is red. It starts with the same letter. That's not too difficult. And azul is blue. And if you think of that U sound, it doesn't sound too dissimilar from blue. I'd say the tougher ones are verde, which means green. Although you can, sometimes you can be really creative with language. You could even think of, I don't know, a day where everyone celebrates Bear Day. That might help you with green. Amarillo is probably the hardest one. That's yellow. So you can chunk it into 3 bits. So amarillo. There's negro for black and naranja for orange as well. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how they are spelled, because you'll need that for the written part. So there you go. That's black here, negro. We've got verde, which is green, rojo, which is red. Now you'll notice it's actually a J, but in Spanish you pronounce it as like a H sound. So wherever you see a J, even if it's at the start of a word, that would be pronounced as a H. And you'll see that later when we come on to orange as well. Púrpura, amarillo, rosa, naranja, and azul. And that Z is like a th sound as well. What I've also done, and this is really good for pronunciation, perhaps if you struggle a little bit more with pronunciation or confidence with speaking, what you can also do is I've underlined the word, the letter where there's the emphasis. So I might think it's negro or negro. I might not be sure how to say it, but if I put a little underline, it will help me and whoever I'm teaching to remember where you put the emphasis as well. And it's normally on the first syllable, but there's some like nasty ones like amarillo, where it's actually that I rather than amarillo, it's amarillo. But that's a really good way of actually helping yourself out. What I would then do with this resource, so obviously we've got the colours on one side and we've got the words in Spanish on the other side. I'd chop it up. As I said earlier on, I'd make it a little bit bigger, I think, in retrospect. And then what you can do is all sorts. It's really flexible. So you can play 2-player. I think if you were teaching someone, you'd have the colour facing you and the words facing them, and they could say which colour they thought it was. Or you could have it the opposite way around. One little thing I would say is make sure all of the writing is in black, because otherwise, or blue. Even though it's tempting to write it all in the same colour, different colours, to make it match, then you're going to know which one's which without really using your brain too much. You could also do it single player. So when you've taught this, you could have your child playing it with themselves, with sort of flipping the card over. There's loads of other games you can do to consolidate it as well. So you could make 2 sets and you could play Snap with one another, and that would be really good for vocabulary as well. Another great thing you could do is holding 2 or 3 colours up in a row. So you might have, I don't know, let's think. So you could have red and then yellow, then black, and then the child would have to say what they were in Spanish. So it would be rojo, amarillo, negro. So that's a really good way of consolidating as well. You can make that as hard as easy as you want as well. You could just do it as 2 colours in a row. You could do it as 4 colours in a row. It's up to you. Another really fun interactive activity, you can do things like I Spy. You can do things like, I don't know, find me something around the house that is azul, and then they've got to go and find something that's blue. One way I've taught it before in schools is using multi-link. So again, if you've got any of the little handy objects like marbles or something like that, you could always make a pile of, I don't know, verde ones or what have you. Okay, so I hope that was helpful and informative, and I'll be back soon with some more Spanish. Thank you for watching.